And we do have a quorum. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and pledge.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight, Lord, with thankful hearts. Lord, thank you for the rain that we've received. Thank you, Lord, that we have not had any devastating weather like some of our friends out in West Texas, Lord. Lord, we just ask you to be with us tonight as we celebrate this retirement. Lord, we ask you to be with us as we make decisions that will possibly affect this district in the coming days and in the years to come, Lord. Pray that you'd give us wisdom in everything that we do, Lord. Lord, we ask all these things in Christ's name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming. We'll go to item number 4, opportunity for public comment, including any item on the agenda. And we have 4 people signed up. Ms. Simon, if you'd like to speak, you can go over there to the podium, and there's a button with just push that. But before you go ahead and go, and then whenever you get up there, I'm going to read something. Yeah. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated to receive public comment in accordance with this policy. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. Individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up with the presiding officer or designee before the meeting begins as specified in the board's procedures on public comment and shall indicate the agenda item or topic on which they wish to address the board. Except as permitted by this policy and the board's procedures on public comment, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. The board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. When speaking, please refrain from using personal names. So she will start a timer for 5 minutes. Whenever you get to about a minute left, about 2 minutes, we'll start letting you know how much time you have left.
Okay.
Okay. Start whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. I am here today because of some ongoing issues at the Venus High School regarding my daughter, the cheer sponsor, and the principal's leadership in administration. What should have been a joyful and memorable year for my daughter, senior year, has turned into a year of bullying from the cheer sponsor. The principal has done nothing about it. Currently, my daughter has had no contact with the cheer sponsor since January after leaving the cheer team, and I told my daughter to stay away from her. I will talk on that topic shortly. The first of the month, May 1st to be exact, my daughter received an invoice from the principal that the cheer sponsor gave to him for her missing items such as cheer pants and a jacket. I asked if she had these items and she said not to her knowledge, but mind you, it's been 5 months, so I asked her to please double check her room and car. Then to find out that 2 other parents received the same exact identical invoices that my daughter got. Oddly enough, these 2 students had some of the same issues as my daughter did with the cheer sponsor during cheer and throughout the school year. The principal, when handing out these invoices, never said that these items were to be turned in by a specific time, or that if they did not pay the invoice, they wouldn't be allowed to attend senior week, or that their diplomas would be withheld or not allowed to walk. This abruptly became news Thursday after the senior walkthrough. That again should have been a joyful day for my daughter, which started that way since breakfast was provided through the top 10%. She called me hysterically crying not even 20 minutes after finishing the senior high school walkthrough. The cheer sponsor made sure to make it known that these girls had not paid and told the principal that they could not attend senior week. And the principal passed the message on to the girls. The person, my daughter, that has put in her past, the cheer sponsor, was working to sabotage her senior week and prevent her from getting her diploma. Then my daughter said while doing senior walk that this cheer sponsor turned her back, then rolled her eyes and laughed at her. She didn't understand why she was being laughed at because there was nothing funny, another childish behavior from this cheer sponsor. Then shortly after the senior walk, my daughter gets a screenshot of the cheer sponsor's TikTok post from a student. It says, "Giving myself a round of applause of staying quiet instead of punching them in the face." Whether this was rhetorical towards my daughter or any student in this school is uncalled for behavior.
You have
This
2
is-
minutes.
Huh?
2 minutes.
This is what's being allowed to happen under the principal's administration. By the end of the day, thanks to some of the teachers who fought for the girls, they were told they could attend senior week. But the principal said their diplomas still will be withheld until the invoices are paid. I feel this is retaliation from the principal and the cheer sponsor for having filed grievance this year. I have emailed the principal requesting more information, and the cheer sponsor has gone onto social media saying she has documentation showing she has seen these items, which I have not. She has not communicated me whatsoever or my daughter. The cheer sponsor also took to social media and saying I, as a parent, couldn't pay for these items. She has currently taken that post from her social media. But the funny thing is, people I didn't even know sent me screenshots of the cheer sponsor's ugly behavior on social media. This was all due to my social media post that was currently what we're discussing about. So while I have several meetings with the principal throughout the school year regarding the cheer sponsor's behavior, including things she has done, said, or even acted towards my daughter and other students, bothered me as a parent. In the meeting, the principal there was never a solution. There was, I'll check into it, and a lot of backpedaling. At the last and final meeting, the principal, before filing the grievance, his exact words to my daughter were, "You know we all have your best interest here." We left the meeting that day feeling frustrated and defeated that we have gotten nowhere the past 3 months. The cheer sponsor has been playing favorites with the cheer captains, as my daughter is one of the captains and was excluded from cheer captain duties. Even though Shirley relied on my daughter to make the run-through signs for the football games, the cheer sponsor had her chosen captain and would have private meetings, practices, and she would even take the students home daily. And I found this wildly inappropriate, and there's more to go on.
And then Ms. Ramirez? And it'll be the same.
I have to hit a button?
No, you should be good. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh, sorry. I am London Ramirez, a current senior at Venus High School. I was a former cheerleader. I quit in January. Today I would like to talk about the cheer sponsor's behavior and the failure to solve any problems this year throughout Venus ISD. I am a 4-year varsity athlete for Venus High School. I do multiple sports. I'm normally at these school board meetings getting recognized for things that I do on and off the field. I have great grades. I'm a great student. I don't ever have any problems with anybody. I'd like to start off by addressing the cheer sponsor's behavior throughout the year. Throughout the year, we've had many problems with everything that she has done. I personally, when a lot of other things happened throughout the year and there were a bunch of formal complaints filed, I did not file one. I chose, with everything that I knew, to set it aside and move on further with my education. This past week, a couple weeks ago, I got an invoice for some things that were missing for cheer. I don't have the things. I did not sign out for the things. I know there is another athlete on the team who quit sooner before I did that does have the things, and she did not receive an invoice. I spoke with her when I got the invoice. She did not turn in the things. And that's not what I'm here about today. That doesn't bother me that she didn't and I had to. It's the fact that it has to be equal and fair. I feel as though nothing has been fair throughout the year. I was a Venus cheer captain, and shortly after I quit, there was a repost on social media made about a favorite captain shortly after I quit. So it obviously wasn't me. And it was not the first time it was not the first time that the cheer sponsor had made comments like that. I had an issue with her earlier on in the year that I didn't address, where she used very uncalled for terms with my mother. And I work at a job. Another faculty of Venus ISD came in and told me what she said, and I didn't speak about it after. So it had been spread throughout Venus ISD, which I do not appreciate. The words I won't repeat, they were uncalled for someone to say. I also know that she prides herself on being a favorite of administration. And anything that she has done, I've seen no discipline, no actions following behind it. I didn't file a complaint when everybody else did because I wanted to move on, but then I found out that now my diploma is at stake. I don't understand why. Me of all people, great student, straight A's. I didn't want any problems with her. I let it go. I moved on. I play soccer. I moved on to the next sport. And then I find out after we walk that I'm not going to be in senior events, and that my diploma could potentially not come towards me because of a decision that she made. It was also told to me by someone that works for Venus ISD that she was pushing for me not to be in senior week.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. I think my main issue today is the fact that this sponsor, we were told did it out of the kindness of her heart, it was not kind anywhere throughout the season, and it's slowly getting worse. The behavior is slowly getting worse. So I would just like it to be fixed for the sake of next year. Obviously, I graduate, I leave, I'm not a cheerleader anymore, it doesn't involve me. But for the sake of the safety of the other athletes and for the sake of their mental, I grew up cheering, did it my whole life. I quit, not because of my own decisions, because of somebody else's. That's all I have to say for today.
Ms. Simon?
My name is Chastity Simon, and I've come to talk. I'm a senior this year, and I've been on the varsity cheer team for the past 3 years. I've attended Venus for the past 13 years, so I have had the help with BYSA. I have had coaches from BYSA. I've grown up in cheer. I've grown up with Liberty coaches, and I think this year has been very disappointing for me for it being my last year. And I made aware of I made the principal aware of this come September when this cheer sponsor had a outlash at me and another cheer captain, and she had said that she's doing this out of the kindness of her heart, but she doesn't want to do this. She doesn't like us. She doesn't like the way we talk to her. She doesn't like being here. She doesn't like how the freshmen treat her, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like this at all. So it kind of made me upset because I get it. The freshmen have a learning curve, but it's also, they're learning. It's students, people talk, like it's okay. You have to move forward. You have to be the coach. You have to have the backbone. You have to have a standing ground. So shortly after that, there is nothing resided about that issue. And we continued on. I let it go. I moved past that because it's my senior year of cheer. It's okay. We had 3 captains. We were going to do great. And I had ended up quitting later in January after a UIL competition because of the cheer sponsor's failure to read the rules, and we ended up competing a completely wrong routine. And she had stated that she didn't know she had to read the rules and that she was reliable for reading them, even though she was responsible for us and we did not have a coach. So I quit shortly after that, and later, probably a couple weeks ago, I received an invoice, a Canva invoice that we buy the sweats through varsity, so she didn't send us an itemized receipt or anything showing that we get when we buy our uniforms, since we pay $600 for our own uniforms. when we get an itemized receipt from varsity. She did not use that. Instead, she used a Canva document. And then during that time, I was never told that this would have my diploma withheld. I would be withheld from senior week. I was never told that I had a certain time that this needed to be turned in. It wasn't until last week on Thursday, right before we were going to walk the high school, that not a principal, not a counselor, not even one of my teachers had said, "You're not going on senior week." Instead, it was an elementary teacher who had told me on the bus that you're on the list to not go. And so then I called my mom because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why I was not on the list. And then later, after I turned in my Chromebook, I had found out that we were going on senior week. We were going on senior week, but I wasn't getting my diploma, which I found out from another student, not a principal, not a counselor, not from anyone, 7 days before graduation. And then again today, I have found out that not from a principal, not from a counselor, not from anyone in administration, that my transcripts will be withheld from another student, which hasn't been communicated to me at all, nor communicated to my parents since I am a minor. This should have been communicated weeks ago because I know a couple people who aren't graduating, and this was communicated to them weeks beforehand. That I would have liked to know that this could have put me in potential of something that I did not have, something I left long ago, like 5 months ago. And that, because the cheer sponsor has showed favoritism and professionalism throughout the year. And we saw this, so we had about 6 people who joined the team through not a professional tryout. It was the 3 captains, we judged it. And because of that, we were interchanging the sweatsuits because they did not pay for a uniform and they weren't on the original itinerary of who we would have there. So we constantly interchanged the sweatpants and the sweatshirts. That's how items were getting lost. We didn't have a system for this, and this is how things were constantly interchanged since they weren't on the original roster. So in that mix, the sweatpants and the sweatshirt were mixed up, even if we constantly had to interchange them. That's kind of all I have to say.
Ms. Phelps?
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Torres. My name is Natalie Phelps, and I'm a concerned parent and member of the Venus ISD community. Over the past few weeks, even years, I've been prepping for tonight. I've been collecting feedback from not only dozens of parents and Venus ISD staff across our district, throughout our neighborhood Facebook group, and through direct conversations. I'm here tonight not just as one voice, but as a collective voice for the families who care deeply about the quality of education and safety in our schools. We love this town. Many of us chose to raise our families here because we believe in the strength of a small, close-knit community. But belief without accountability becomes complacency. And too many of us have experienced a district that no longer listens to the people it's meant to serve. We've heard repeated concerns about bullying, both student and staff related, that has gone under-addressed. In my own family, both of my daughters have experienced bullying, including once from a teacher. Parents have reported situations where concerns are brushed off or meetings are denied. I've tried for years to speak with superintendents and board members and have not had any success. This is unacceptable. We have teachers that are being silenced, discouraged, and even bullied by administrators, according to multiple sources that I've spoken with. Meanwhile, they're leaving for nearby districts that offer better pay, professional respect, and support. We've heard disturbing reports of moldy and undercooked food in cafeterias, broken sinks, and trash cans for no trash cans for feminine hygiene disposal. The middle school bathrooms, their stalls don't lock. The high school bathrooms are left unrepaired even after being reported. Students are being sent to gyms as placeholders because there aren't enough teachers or substitutes available for their classes. And yet the district is owed over $426,000 in back taxes, according to Superintendent Torres from an email in 2024. Where's the urgency to fix these issues? And most shockingly of all is there was a teacher arrested for drug-related charges on the very first day of school this year. Parents were never notified. We've had lockdowns, death of staff, and serious safety incidents kept quiet. This lack of transparency is dangerous. Parents are being left in the dark, and our children are paying the price. Despite all this, there are bright spots. Some teachers are going above and beyond. They're educating and nurturing our children and protecting them. Families have shared heartwarming stories of student progress and teacher support, especially at the primary campus. But this isolated excellence does not excuse systematic failure. We are not here to tear down this district. We are here to build it up and demand accountability, transparency, and action. Communication with families, truthfully, and consistency. Respect and retain our teachers.
You're at 2 minutes.
And respect and retain our teachers. Don't drive them away. Fix what's broken, literally and systematically. Let parents be a part of the solution, not an afterthought. Venus ISD is at a crossroads. We can keep covering up the cracks, or we can finally start filling them. We will continue to show up. We will continue to speak out, and we hope you will finally begin to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. Go to item number 5, presentation of campus reports and recognitions.
Yeah, those are, the campus reports are included in your book, but we're good with recognitions, yeah.
The campus reports were included in our board book. Did anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
Can you tell her we're ready?
Okay, yes, good evening. So we've got some students that we want to recognize throughout the year. We want to recognize our students for great achievements that what they've been doing, whether it's academically, whether it's in ag, sports, etc. So we've got our first group coming in here, and we've got Dr. Morgan. Come on, I'm Dr. Morgan. And he's going to recognize a student from esports. Go ahead, Dr. Morgan.
Hello. For those of you who don't know, esports is a competitive gaming league, just like football. The only difference is we don't work up a sweat like you do in football, but the competition is the same, the teamwork is the same, reputation is the same, sportsmanship is the same. We got invited to go to the Undisputed State Tournament, where they take the top teams from all the other state tournaments, different leagues that we have in Texas, and they're invited to compete at that tournament. We got invited. Elwin placed high enough to be invited to that tournament. At the last minute, they changed the rules on what the cutoff on your rank was, which cut him off. So he earned that spot without. But Venus ISD has a reputation with esports leagues that's good. And we got an invitation to go anyway. And when Elwin showed up, he didn't just play, he won, and he advanced in farther rounds against very, very stiff competition. So even though Elwin may not have made it to the finals, he represented Venus very well, got farther than anybody else in our district, and farther than hundreds of other students in the state of Texas. So Elwin Soar Barron, Soar, everyone has gamer tags or like nicknames. His is Soar. So this certificate says, Elwin Soar Barron, Venus ISD recognizes you for outstanding achievement at the TechSef Undisputed State Tournament in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, we're going to get some pictures here. Okay, next we've got band.
I didn't bring the whole band, sorry.
All right. Come on, yeah, you set that trophy right up there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
You can.
Here they come. Y'all come on in. Here they come.
Here they come. Oh, I don't need that.
Sure you do. We got a people on.
On the internet.
Yeah,
Okay.
people, all right, guys,
Come
y'all
on.
just come here and line up across the front. I know it's kind of crowded, but scoot down a little bit. All right, Mr. Ward, go ahead. Thank
Okay.
you.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Ward. I'm the head band director of Venus High School. We're here to recognize the high school band on their sweepstakes. Sweepstakes is making straight ones in marching contests in the fall, straight ones in concert, and in sight reading. If you don't know what sight reading is, they basically give us 7 minutes to learn a brand new piece of music, and they made straight ones, so that's awesome. This is the 4th year in a row, so we are building consistency and greatness in the band hall, and we can't wait to perform our new show for you at halftime. So this certificate is for the Venus ISD High School Band. The Venus ISD recognizes the following outstanding achievement in the following areas of our Sweepstakes Award. Here you go. These are some of our leaders for next year, so we're excited for them. That's it. You want the trophy in front? Aaron, you're too tall to be in the front. Here, you hold it. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. Also, Dr. Torres wanted me to mention that we also have a certificate for the middle school honors band, who also made a sweepstakes, except they didn't do the marching band part. They did just the concert and sight reading, and this is their 3rd year in a row. So without all that success at the bottom, that's what drives the success at the top. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Camacho and all of his support team, Miss Buck, and everything they do for us to support us and help us. I also want to thank Dr. Peter Morgan. He's been my mentor for my first year here in Venus, and I truly enjoy being here. And so I'll read this. It's the certificate of recognition for the Venus Middle School Honors Band. Recognizes you for the following outstanding achievement in the following areas of a sweepstakes award for the 3rd year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we've got welding now. For ag students. So come on in. Don't be shy. All right, gentlemen, y'all come on up, and you can line up here across the front. Yeah, kind of slide down a little bit, guys. We got a good group here. All right.
Okay, folks.
Okay, you've got the floor, Mr. Webb.
Oh,
All right.
this is a mixture of welding classes. We've got one out of the high school welding class that's not P-TECH, but that doesn't stop those students. If they have the skills and either teacher recognizes it, they are able to go to the contest. And you're going to hear when I read some of these certificates that some of them have been in several different events. One of which, we've had our 5th annual Venus FFA welding contest this year, and it's a good fundraiser for us. And they actually went to work, and they won their own contest for the first time ever. So I have some certificates, and then when I get through, Tyler Henrich, which is one of my ex-welding students, is working for Panther City, and they provided an 8-hour training certificate to 4 of our welding guys, robotic training. That all I can say is robotic training. I sat back and watched, and I didn't touch it because I was afraid I'd break something. Okay. Get my elbows on. The first certificate, Jose Camacho, Arc Labs Fort Worth Regional Welding Competition, which once he won there, that allowed him to be able to compete at the state competition 2 weeks ago. Is that right? Okay. Gage Britton at the Arc Labs Regional Welding Competition. He won first place in the cutting torch contest. Christopher Sanchez, he was on the first place team here for our welding contest. There you are. Orlando Rodriguez, he qualified back in October at Red Oak High School Welding Series Regional Welding Competition, got 6th high out of, I can't remember how many. He was on the first place team here. You're going to get another word in a minute. He also qualified for state with his 6th place there at Fort Worth. Axel Juarez qualified at Red Oak High School Welding Series competition back in October, which qualified for him for state. Luis Gonzalez, I've heard of it, watched it, and it's totally different from what the actual job is than underwater welding. At these high school welding series contests that we go to, you think, oh, there's going to be a huge tank. No, it's a 200-gallon water trough, Buck. They got their elbow in there and they're welding there. Well, Luis here, he come over and says, I won 2nd place. I said, no, you didn't. Well, sure enough, they called the names out. He got a bunch of awards for getting 2nd place. That qualified him for when we went to the state welding contest, and the people putting it on says, well, everybody on your team can compete. Fortunately, I had gotten all of them to sign their liability. Every one of them got in the water and tried it out. They got a good taste of it. So Luis Gonzalez got 2nd in underwater welding at Red Oak. And in Fort Worth in February, he competed with his welding and won 9th place out of 60 some odd, I think, wasn't it? And then he was also on the first place team for our welding contest. Now, William Pacheco, he and 2 or 3 more, I think and I hope that they finally understand. And I look at them and say, guys, you got to pass your classes. That's the most important. You pass classes, you get to go. And it knocked them out more than once. But hey, that's part of it. That leads us to life. But I think it'll be different next year. Every one of these guys you see up here, besides the ad, they're all sophomores. I get them for 2 more years. William Pacheco was on the first place welding team. And also on the, he was one of, Tyler will talk about him here in a minute. And then Brandon Amador. He was on that robotic crew that went and did that learning, which they told me that company is adopting our whole curriculum in for this training that they did. They're kind of blending it together. So maybe there'll be more to come from that. Now, you two, you step up a little bit. Step up here a little bit. Tyler has plaques for William. I have one that wasn't here, but this is their 8-hour certification that the company.
Okay, let's get a picture here.
So during the 8-hour certification that they got, I was able to teach them how to operate. It's called an iBot. It's a welding robot that basically a lot of companies and industrial powerhouse companies are using to help speed up the process of welding. Because like people are welding and they're gonna stop and adjust and stuff, whereas these robots nowadays can just constantly weld without having any stoppage and having to move and stuff. And so during the 8 hours, I was able to teach them how to operate the robot, how to safely program it, and how it runs. They were able to pick it up in like 15 minutes or so. It's really simple. It's that you basically sit here and set point A to point B, and the robot will weld it. You can do different angles, different speeds, and I know with technology nowadays, it's advancing constantly, and robots are becoming like a big part in everything. And so a lot of companies are looking for people to be able to run these robots. And so Mr. Webb was lucky to bring these guys out, and we were able to show them. So now the 4 guys that showed up are trained in this. So it also helps them when they graduate. If they go into a job that's looking for someone to run the robot, they're already trained and have that knowledge that they don't have to go and learn and stuff. They can get right off the bat, start using it.
The company don't have to spend time training them.
Yep.
They've already got money ahead.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations. Thank you all. Okay, what we would like to do now. Yes. Parents, if you're all here, you want to stay, we're finishing up with recognition. We got one more. You're feel free to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but always, if you would like to leave at this time, then you can.
Yeah, who's he looking for? Teresa. She's here.
Yeah,
She's here. John's here and Sarah's here. Okay. They're all here.
Okay, well, I want to take a special moment in time here now to recognize an employee that has made a long-lasting impact in Venus ISD. For over 32 years, this teacher has given her heart and soul and dedicated to teaching and molding young children. That's several decades through all the trends that come and go, and has been a longest standing teacher in Venus ISD for 32 years. This time I would like to welcome Teresa Hoffman. Come on up, Teresa. So I'm going to read this here. It says, in honor of Teresa Hoffman, who has dedicated 32 years of educating and inspiring our students, your impact will be felt for generations to come. Wishing you a wonderful and fulfilling retirement. Congratulations. All right, Greg, need you to come on down. We've got a lot of family members that have traveled. So let's get I want Mr. Hoffman to come on down. We'll get a picture. And then family members, come on up. I know you've traveled from all over trying to get here through the rain, and so we'll take as many pictures as you want. We've got a student here that wants to get a picture as well. So. Anybody else who wants pictures, just let us know.
Is that okay? All right. If y'all just Congratulations on a round of applause.
We'll go to item number 6, CTE P-TECH program update.
So first, I'd like to thank the board for allowing us to come today and share the great things that are happening in the CTE world. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all the CTE teachers, both at VHS and VMS. Without them, the successes that we have would not be possible. I'd also like to thank those that have served and shown up on P-TECH leadership team meetings, along with CTE leadership team meetings. Without their valuable input, we would not be able to be making the progress that we're making at this point. So I am ready whenever you are, Warren. So right now, as far as CTE participation, out of 701 students at VHS, 619 of them are in at least one CTE weighted course. 345 students are enrolled in at least 2 or more CTE weighted courses. At Venus Middle School, and it's just 7th and 8th grade because those are the only ones that can enroll in CTE courses. 85 of 438 students are enrolled in at least one weighted course, and at least 12 are enrolled in 2 or more CTE weighted courses. It's kind of hard to see at the bottom. As you know, the numbers fluctuate quite a bit as students move in and move out, but those numbers are pulled at the end of April. So as of, I think, April 29th is what the bottom says. We offer 7 of the 14 state recognized career clusters and 9 programs to study. 5 of the programs to study have a P-TECH program embedded in them. And according to the Perkins 5 state plan, we offer well above the required number of CTE programs for our school district. The programs that we offer that are P-TECH and or CTE programs are animal science, agricultural technology and mechanical systems, which we know is welding, plant science, cybersecurity, teaching and training, criminal justice, graphic design and multimedia art, teaching and training, and entrepreneurship. I was asked to include some labor market data in the presentation today. We were fortunate to have a recent labor market review as a result of being part of what's called the College and Career School Readiness Models as a result of our P-TECH program. So this is the most recent labor market data that was provided to us by CareerCraft. When they pulled the labor market data, they dropped a pin at the admin office and then went 45 miles outside of it. The most data shows that if people don't live within where they don't work within where they live, they at least drive about 45 minutes. So that pin is a 45-minute. The orange that you see is where our 45-minute circumference is. Now that doesn't take into account traffic, but mileage-wise, it's 45 minutes. So the largest industry sectors in our VISD labor shed market is healthcare and social assistance, retail trade, and accommodation and food services. I do want to make note that the information that they pull off is from the federal recognized programs, and so the names are a little bit different than what you see on the state level. The sectors in our labor shed that have the average wages per worker are management companies and enterprises, mining, quarry, oil and gas extraction, and finance and insurance. And then the sectors with the most job growth are transportation within the next 10 years, transportation and warehousing, professional, scientific and technical services, and healthcare and social assistance. In the next 10 years, employment in the VISD labor shed is projected to expand by 338,320 jobs. The fastest growing sector in our region will be healthcare and social assistance. The strongest forecast for the number of jobs over this period, healthcare and social assistance, professional, scientific and technical services, and transportation and warehousing. The occupation groups in our labor shed that have the highest wages per workers are legal occupations, management occupations, and computer and mathematical occupations. And then we can take all of that data and put it into a graph. I know it's small, but it's hard to make it big. But the programs on the left, are the CTE career programs. And then you can see where the growth is. The great thing is that in our labor shed, there is nothing that is below living wage. We have everything that is above or ahead of our living wage. And then it shows that they also provided us with career clusters that pay more than an average occupation wage in our area. We also, as part of the Perkins 5 initiative, so this was the first time in, I believe, 5 years that Venus ISD has applied for Perkins funding. So as part of the Perkins funding that we receive as a federal grant program, we have to have a program review. So we had our program review conducted by CTAT, which is the Career and Technical Association of Texas. And so this is just some program highlights and observations that they provided us after our review. So as far as our facilities, we do offer a mixture of older and newer facilities with the CTE spaces spread throughout the district, from portable buildings to off-site welding lab. While expansion efforts are evident, opportunities exist to utilize current dormant spaces and upgrade existing facilities. Our program strengths: we have a strong agricultural program with exceptional CTSO. You'll hear that acronym several times. So it's Career and Technical Student Organizations. So AG, the FFA is what's considered a CTSO. The participation is impressive. Our engineering program with industry-aligned instruction, growing programs in law enforcement, entrepreneurship, education and training, graphic design, and cybersecurity. As far as our financial compliance, VISD spends 67% of CTE funds on direct program costs, exceeding the minimum requirement of 55% mandated by the Texas Education Code. And our district maintains proper documentation through Program Intent Code 22 expenditure reporting and complies with state and federal guidelines. They did provide us with some key recommendations to continue to grow. So to continue to support the CTE department in budgeting and facility planning, implement a process for reviewing IBC reimbursement, create a flow chart for reviewing PIC 22 expenditures, continue auditing program needs and implement equipment phase-out systems, ensure adequate funding through PIC 22, establish an industry advisory board, and expand middle school career exploration offerings to align with high school programs. So some of those things we're going to talk about later are some things that we are already starting to implement. Their overall conclusion was that we strive to provide excellent educational experiences for all CTE students. Our district offers robust career options aligned to many dual credit opportunities. Students earn industry certifications, attain technical skills, and pursue secondary education. CTAT does recommend that the leadership of VISD CT administration for ensuring equal access and opportunities while cultivating innovative and P-TECH aligned programs. So program highlights. So as far as the programs that we offer, the next couple of slides are just going to talk about the IBCs that we offer, which are the industry-aligned certifications or industry-based certifications. These are pulled from the state. The state gives us a list of industry-based certifications that we can use that are aligned with our CTE programs, and so we pull those off of there. And then if a program is a P-TECH program, the associate's degree that's associated with it. So for our animal science, our students start off with our basic fundamental animal science certification, working up to their licensed veterinary technician level 1 certification. And they have the opportunity to earn an Associates of Science in General Studies. Our plant science program, they focus on the Texas State Floral Association knowledge-based floral certification, and then the Texas State Floral Association level 1 floral certification. That's a lot of words. For welding, there's a lot of things that are happening in welding. So they have IBCs that are offered, which they earn the American Welding Association D 1.1 structural steel and D 9.1 sheet metal welding. Students who are in the P-TECH program they have the opportunity to earn 4 additional level 1 or level 2 certifications that are awarded by our Institute of Higher Education, Hill College. And then they have worked their way up to an Associates of Applied Technology and Welding Technology. All CTE programs, it is recommended by TEA that they have an aligned CTSO. So for our Agricultural and Food and Natural Resources programs, National FFA Association is the aligned CTSO. Our next program is graphic design and interactive media. Those students are able to earn 3 different Adobe certifications through their coursework. And then entrepreneurship, this was our first year to have students eligible to take IBCs through that program. As you know, it's been a phase-in program. And so students took the entrepreneurship and small business certification. And then next year, we will be adding in what's called StuKent, which is a social media marketing certification to those students. Education and training, those students, the only one that they can earn is their educational aid, but that's a really great one for our students to earn. That allows them to be employed at any school district as an aide as they work through their program. They are able to earn an Associates of Arts in Teaching degree, and then their CTSO is the Texas Association of Future Teachers. Information technology, which is our cybersecurity program. The students there are earning their CompTIA IT Fundamentals and CompTIA Security Plus. The unique thing about these IBCs are these are ones that people working in this industry have. They are not, some of the other certifications are a high school aligned certification. These are industry recognized certifications. And the students in that program have the opportunity to earn an Associates of Science in General Studies. Law enforcement, we are still in a phase-in on this program as well. So students actually won't be eligible to earn their non-commissioned security officer level 2 license until the 26-27 school year, but we are working towards that. This is a P-TECH program, so they are able to earn some level 1 and level 2 certifications through Hill College, and then they are also working towards an Associates of Applied Science in Criminal Justice. Engineering, they work on their Autodesk Associate Fusion 360, and then their CTSO that's aligned with them is the Technology Student Association. At VMS, we have 4 CTE programs currently at VMS, Principles of Education and Training, Principles of Ag, Principles of Applied Engineering, and Robotics 1. And they also have, those students in those programs are able to participate in CTSOs as well, so FFA, TAFE, and TSA. So we have had some great CTSO success. I could go on and speak about successes that we've had all all night long. I tried to pull some of the highlights. Our VHS Taffy chapter was recognized as an outstanding chapter at their state convention this year. We have a TSA state officer. VMS Taffy has a team that qualified for national. We have 4 FFA students who have qualified to earn their Lone Star degree. That is the highest degree that you can earn in the FFA before moving on to a national degree. So it is a lot of work and a lot of time put in to record keeping, record books, and they go through multiple certification processes. So that's a really great opportunity for those students. We have multiple TSA teams advancing to the state and national competition. And then as you guys just saw, we had 4 students that qualified for the Texas State High School Welding Series this year. Work-based learning is a large part of CTE. That's where we're able to take the practical knowledge that they're learning in the classroom and apply it into the workforce. So this is a growing program. We are, and it's in its infantile stages, but as we grow, we hope to see more opportunities for students. So right now we have 2 vet med students who, through their vet med lab class, they have to do so many hours. It's 2,000 hours of hands-on learning to be able to even take their licensed their veterinary license degree. And so those students, through those practicums, have their jobs off, their places that they're interning offered our students jobs. So our students were able to earn part-time jobs as a result of their practicum and internships that they're doing right now. We have a practicum of ag student who is currently employed at a veterinary office. VHS hosted a college and career fair with over 30 colleges and careers represented. VHS students have been able to tour Basden Steel for Steel Day and visited Panther City Industrial Supply. Our education and training students and instructional practices students are interning at VMS, VES, VPS, and our daycare. CTE students are serving as social media ambassadors with our communication departments. And this year we hashtagged Blooming Bulldogs for our floral design team. And those students have had the opportunity to work and assemble floral arrangements for prom and graduation events. So it's giving them some experience outside of the classroom on what it would be like to be party planners or work in a floral design and have those events just outside of what we think of a traditional arranging flowers. So this is a working number, and it's actually changed since I submitted our PowerPoint. So I'm going to pull that slide real quick so I can add in the extra things that we've had. So we had 26 students that earned their basic arc welding certification. So that means that they completed 16 college credit hours this school year. So that's their level 1. We have 22 students who earned their Adobe Certified Professional in Graphic Design and Illustration. 16 students earned Adobe Certified Professional in Visual Design. We have 5 students that have already earned their educational aid. I think we have 5 more that they can't earn it until they turn 18. So as soon as they turn 18, they have earned that thing. 19 entrepreneurship and small business. This was our first year to do that one, so that's a great opportunity for those students. We actually have 7 Autodesk certificates. We had one that retested and earned his certification. 7 students earned their floral basic knowledge certification. 2 animal science certifications. 29 D9.9 sheet welding medals. We have 6 students that earned their Elanco veterinary medical applications certification, and we have 1 certified veterinary assistant that earned her and passed the exam. So we're really excited about that. And then CCMR med hours. I actually haven't updated for that too because our dual credit numbers, our dual credit grades have come in. So when we talk about dual credit, for P-TECH specific, those students are only in 9th and 10th grade. And so for the class of 2028, which is our freshmen, collectively, they have earned 249 college credit hours as freshmen. We have some freshmen currently that have earned 12 college hours. Sorry, I had to put the math together. So as a freshman, they've already earned 12 college credit hours through our P-TECH program. And then as a class of 2027, which is our sophomores, as of today, they've earned 557 collective college credit hours. So that's a really great number for our students as the program continues to grow. CTE completers and concentrators, we do have some updated numbers for that as well. We have 72 actually who are completers with an IBC. So that means that they have completed 3 or more CTE classes for 4 or more credits, and they passed their IBC. So that means that they are college, career, and military ready by the standards of the state. We have 100 completers, excuse me. They have just not passed their IBC or are sat for an IBC yet. 21 of those are concentrators. 21 of that 72 number are seniors only, and 71 of that 100 number that I mentioned earlier are seniors only as well. So TSI, that is our college entrance exam. This is an exam that our students begin taking in 8th grade if they're interested in P-TECH, and they continue to take it until they become TSI complete. That is what allows them to take certain dual credit courses. This test is designed for students who have completed 4 years of high school and are going into college. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the numbers, that these students in particular are some of them are 8th graders, 9th or 10th graders. They have not had junior English, they have not had senior English, or those courses that actually are meant to prepare them for that. So having students that are able to pass it this early on is a great number for our students. So we have 5 that are TSI complete. That means that they have passed both ELAR and math, and then 35 that are ELA are complete. That number is, as far as math, most of the students haven't sat for their math test yet because they don't need it yet. So we focus on English first and then math. The ones that are 5 are ones that are took Algebra 1 in middle school, and so they're ahead in their math sequencing. And then we just tested the 8th graders last week, and we had 8 that passed their TSIA, both sections of their ELAR. So they are already complete as an 8th grader. And then VHS as a whole, 9th through 12th grade, we have 44 students who are TSI complete in both ELAR and math, 152 that are ELAR complete, and 4 that are math complete. And then CTE moving forward, we are projecting 6 new CTE classes at VHS. We are in the talks to open a school store that will be run by our practicum of entrepreneurship students. We're investigating 2 potential new CTSO chapters for our programs. We're projecting 4 new CTE classes at VMS based on teacher certifications. And then we will be planning, and so I encourage everyone that's on the board, if you work for a company, work for a business, or know someone who would be interested, we will be starting a CTE and P-TECH advisory board for our community to come in and provide us with input on how we can strengthen our programs and ensure that our students are college, career, and military ready.
I have a question. Okay, so in your report, it shows that the number 1 is healthcare, and we don't offer anything. Is that anywhere going to be put in the next year or so?
So that would be a goal, absolutely, but one would have to have the teacher approved, so we'd have to have an FTE approved for that position, and we'd have to have the space to put that in, and then that is a pretty expensive program to start off at the baseline, because you are talking about running a full. Those students earn like their phlebotomy license, they earn their patient care technician, and so those students, you're talking hospital beds, IV poles, all the equipment that would go with that.
Yeah, everything goes with nursing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still different parts of that medical that's not nursing.
Could we start off smaller, maybe do medical billing, medical coding, anything that...
Those aren't classes that are currently offered, and that, like, medical billing isn't a CTE course. So it's something that we could explore and look at what that pathway would look like as far as the sequencing of courses. So absolutely, like, it's definitely an opportunity for growth and advancement to look at what that sequencing of courses would look like, and then present what we would need as, I guess, a startup to start at the base level. No, I don't disagree with you, and that is a program that I would love to explore further and look into. and finding the space. I think it's a great opportunity for something to think about as the school board moves forward with the bond that was passed recently and the classroom spaces, and looking at that being a part of your expansion and your, as you build the high school, as a program for growth.
Anyone have any questions? Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll go to item number 7, camera installation update. Mr. Hudson and Chief Wood.
I don't want to get too crazy with it. All right, so our goal is to give you an update on the camera system upgrade at Venus High School. Be aware, I'm speaking a little out of my lane because this would normally be a Chief Wood and Mr. Hudson conversation. If y'all are good with that, I was okay with him staying out there taking care of the bad guys. But just to give you an overview, work on our 2-week project that has turned into a 5-month project began back on January 15th. Some key dates in that are we started having configuration issues around January 21st. What that means is that the hardware and the software didn't exactly integrate as the vendor described that they would. And so we've had a subcontractor initially arrive and start doing the work on the 15th of January, and then by the 29th, that subcontractor had to move on to another project while ours still wasn't quite finished. Had a subcontractor return to complete hardware installation on February 17th. And most recently, and probably the most impactful thing that we've had was on May 14th, we had a Vigilant engineer. And so that's not necessarily someone who works for Arrowwave, which is the company that we contracted with. It's a expert that works for the system that we are adopting for our camera system. And Arrowwave was able to contract with them to get him out here a couple weeks ago to take an in-depth look at the setup, and we had a very productive day when he was on site. Since February, our present status is that the primary, elementary, middle schools have continued using Video Insights, which has been our legacy camera system, and so haven't had significant changes there. Venus High School has had camera coverage, but it's just taken some near daily attention to ensure that all cameras have stayed online. The biggest challenges that we've experienced is turnover and with employees and contractors with Arrowwave, who is the vendor that we went with on this contract or on this project. Where we thought we were going to have a team of people, we had a person arrive to begin installation. At different points, there were more than just one person working on things, and so the installation really, whether there was a team of people or one person, it didn't take that long. The problem is that the installers weren't necessarily able to resolve the issues that arose. Another big issue, part of the project was to bring all of our old legacy cameras onto the new Vigilant software. That wasn't something that the initial subcontractor was able to do, and so it took quite a bit of troubleshooting. It's something that my staff has put a good amount of hours of work into, and it's not something that we were able to solve. And so it took getting the a Vigilant engineer involved to get that resolved. And so the cameras at the other campuses have not been pulled on just yet, but now we at least know that is a possibility, because for a while it wasn't something that was happening successfully.
Yeah, Warren, let me jump in for a second.
Hop on in.
So on that issue with the with the old cameras not coming onto the new platform, is we had to send one of our cameras out to Vigilant so they can look at it and have their guy, their IT guy look at it a little closer and stuff. And okay, he was able to get it to work, and it worked just fine. And what we found out is that there was a program in our programming between the Vigilant and our VI system to where it was just a click of a button, and they didn't know about that button because we thought it was a power thing and everything else. So they actually purchased equipment and software to figure out what these issues were, and now we're like, I'm glad we found it, because we have issues with other school districts that we're moving to where they're saying they're not moving on over either, and now we know due to these things that we can find it out. So it took us to bring this to their attention and constantly stay on them that they were able to figure it out, and so they can move forward now with it.
Also had a small issue where the initial plan that was done, or that was put together by a former Airwave employee, by the time it came to install, realized that there was a couple of places where it just physically would not work the way that the job was quoted, and so that I believe added around $1,600 to the cost, because they're having to change where cameras are located and change the runs on that, and that's something that the technology department has got a purchase order taken care of to get that rolling.
I have a quick question. Have we paid them everything?
We have paid for the hardware that has been delivered, but Chief would have been really diligent about.
We've not paid installation yet until everything's installed and everything is up and working.
So May 14th has been a critical day that we've been looking forward to for a good long while. It took a very long time for Airwave to be able to book an Avigilon engineer to get them on site, and so on the 14th we had two representatives from Airwave and then the representative from Avigilon come out, and then they provided us. We worked together to come up with a timeline for how to get things resolved. So beginning next week, the engineer should be taking care of an issue that's plagued us for a while, which is a couple cameras to drop off, which is requiring some daily attention. Between now and mid-June, gonna have a camera relocated and take care of the exterior camera at the high school. The week after graduation, we should be rolling all of the old cameras onto the new system, and so that should take all of that week as we go from one campus or camera server to the next. And so our hope is that if the contractor is able to execute on these things, we should be doing training the week of June 16th, and then by the 18th, finally complete the camera upgrade project.
And currently, Warren and I are both in contact with them daily, if not every other day. Just looking at things and see where they're at on it, making sure that we have somebody available that's going to be here on site when they said they're going to be on site, or any other issues that we see. I'm on the cameras more than anyone else, and when I notice something, I shoot Warren an email and the head representative and everything else, and the Vigilon integrator and everything else too. So we're just staying constantly on that weekly.
So whenever this was first presented to us, and it's been a while, so my memory could be wrong, but were we supposed to have to use a lot of our own people like we're having to use?
No, and I've tried to be diligent about not doing that, and so we've made every effort to push those man hours back onto the vendor. Part of that has probably led to, well, it might have contributed to the timeline going so long. However, as some of the problems have been solved, it's not things anybody on my staff would have been able to accomplish. It took someone who works for Avigilon to be able to solve those software and hardware issues.
And then are we paying anything additional for anybody that's come out to try and get this going?
No, ma'am. And we've actually gotten some free labor, so to speak, from a different vendor. We've reached out to. We had a relationship that also is a Avigilon, I guess, certified installer, just to get some advice to bounce ideas off of, and also to verify information, just to make sure that the information we were getting from Airwave was accurate. And so we were very thankful to have a second opinion on that to help guide us. And we've also reached out to a few different school districts who use Avigilon and have gotten some advice from them as well. All that being said, it really did take getting an engineer on site to take a look at things to get significant progress.
It's just disappointing that what they told us is something totally different.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we keep track of our own man hours for our own people where we can bill them back for what we're having to pay for our employees to be taken off of other jobs and bill them for our hours and our daily or our hourly rate?
That is not data that I currently have. I could probably compile that, but I'm not sure what it would take to go back and bill them. It would probably add up to a significant portion of the overall contract. I would see that going to litigation, which may not be the.
That's kind of where I stand on it. We heard that presentation from not only VISD employees, but also their representative. And this was our only questions was why the other campuses weren't getting the benefit of this outstanding system. It's going to flip over and it's going to be facial recognition. You're going to be able to click and down the hallway, and this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. My question is why the camera wasn't sent to them, and we worked out all these bugs before we approved the contract. That just seems like a lot of things. This is January. This is not, we signed a contract that these things were going to be fulfilled, and not only do we not have a working project 6 months later or 5 months later, but we're not even, and I respect the work y'all have done, but there was a whole lot of we expect and we hope to do, and we think it's going to be completed by, but if it hasn't been completed from January till May 20th, or May 19th, what's our expectation it's going to be completed in the next 2 weeks? I mean, you said you thought it'd be completed in the next couple weeks. What has changed to where it couldn't be completed in 6 months, but it's going to be completed in the next 2 weeks?
We were able to get a Avigilon engineer on site to troubleshoot the issues, and so it's getting the right person that has the right experience and knowledge to look at the problem and solve it.
And are we contractually obligated for a number of years?
No.
To this, so we have this product. I mean, I'm leery of all the money we spent and the promises we made to other campuses, because they're going to get all the older cameras and they're going to work just as well. So when we try to put the old cameras on Avigilon, I'm assuming we're not going to get any of the benefits that they sold us on, correct? If we couldn't even get the new cameras to work with it, Are the old cameras gonna work with it?
Yep. The old cameras will work with the new system, and so that part has been confirmed. We didn't roll it over at that time because we had the engineer for that day. So there's an engineer, then there's also an Aerowave. I don't know if he's an employee or a subcontractor, but he's a technician who will be coming out and doing that work. And so he was here on site that day, but it's a bigger task than a single day to take care of that. And so
I definitely think that's
that
something
time got booked.
we need to look into, you know, ATO litigation, but that's something charging back, because we didn't have any of that presentation. There was no conversation at all about using our own people to do any of this work. They were gonna come in, it was gonna be a turnkey project, we're gonna take the new cameras, put them, high school's gonna be state of the art, all the older cameras get rolled down, we're gonna roll. If you'll approve this hundreds of $1,000 contract, then, so I would definitely look a little bit more, maybe speak with them about what they're gonna do to compensate for, nothing in the contract about not being completed. There wasn't a penalty for not being completed by a certain date in the contract at all.
Not that I'm aware of.
So what happens if we're not up and going by June 18th? I mean, what's our next step if we're not up and going by the middle of the summer, before school starts?
I mean, if
What's our backup plan?
they're obviously we're not going to pay them until the work is complete. But we have a good relationship with a different vendor who is able to step in and complete the project if need be. I've been hesitant to do that because that's going to be funds out of our or funds from the district to that other vendor to get taken care of. So I've been doing my best to not spend twice for one bit of work.
Okay, but with that, we haven't paid them for installation, so how would we double dip if we did that? Why would we not just use the money that we've already allocated for them to pay them to come in and fix it?
Yeah, the balance we haven't paid is between $2,000 and $3,000, and so that part we're not looking at a significant chunk of change. The vast majority of the cost of the project was the hardware itself, and so once the hardware was delivered, we paid for that. I have not reached out to that vendor to have them come out and quote anything because the project is incomplete, so it's a difficult thing for them to quote. But my assumption would be that it's going to take more than $2,000 or $3,000 to get someone else out here because they're going to have to start at square one to understand the current state of things.
And this is totally unique to Venus. I'm sure we vetted this company. Somebody, whoever vetted this company, I'm sure we called people and said, I don't understand how that.
Yeah.
What happened to Venus to make we're the only school they're working with where it takes them 6 months and they can't fulfill their obligations, or do they have this problem with other schools and maybe we didn't vet them as thoroughly as we could have. I don't remember who gave the presentation on.
Yeah. From what I understand, and granted, I've been in this role for about a year, and so I learned about the company as we got into this bid. But we have used Airway for a number of years on a variety of projects, and haven't ran into issues like this. What I've observed through the course of this project, it seems that they've had significant turnover in their installation staff, as well as in the subcontractors they use to get work done. And so from what I gather, in this industry, subcontractors are how work gets done, and whenever those subcontractors are highly in demand, it's difficult to get good people, and that's been a challenge for them. And so
several things. Let me just recap on things. The high school camera system works. Okay. The only issue we have is that there was one drop on the far end of the building that it appeared that there was cameras there in the past, and now there's not a drop there anymore. So that's what this extra thing is we have to run it from another location to get that drop to fix, and then that camera will be up, and it'll give us that last spot that we have on the cameras that we ordered and everything else in positions. Okay. The cameras moving over from the old system to the new system, we're not the only district, from my knowledge. And it's usually been smaller districts that have this outdated stuff and outdated cameras. And the issue that they had that we have also is that when we installed those cameras before Warren's time, technology is the ones that put those cameras in. They did the installation. And they're not installers on those cameras or anything else, and so they weren't properly installed and with different things and different settings and everything else. So that's one of the issues that we're kind of finding at the same time, is that we used our own labor to be cheaper on labor before, and it's cost us some conflict right now, okay? But like I said, we're on this every day. We're waiting until next week to move those cameras over to the new system, because more than likely what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wipe those servers to be able to put them on and everything else to get everything done correctly. And that's probably what it should have been done with the first installer, and we've addressed that issue with them, is that one server should have been wiped out, and we should have started from fresh and everything else to put those old cameras into the new system. And so we've addressed those issues with them. But yeah, they're not getting paid for anything until we get everything up and running on that. I mean, that's the main cost of it, is the equipment. And I mean, that's the equipment and license. But these guys they came down and met with us last week, and they continuously are in contact with us daily. So I don't think they're going to run and leave us. But when it's said and done, yes, it's a system that other people can do installation and different work on for us from a different company if we decide not to use that company again for it. So we always have that option instead of using our own people.
Was that it for your presentation, or I don't?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, I didn't. We just kind of started talking. Anybody else have any questions?
I have questions, but just about general cameras, and I don't know if it rolls into new cameras, but it's more along the lines of safety and security and kind of what's happening in some districts around. So when we talk about installation of cameras and where they are, do we have cameras in like our high-risk classrooms, like life skills, BAC, just I would think, to protect our students and our staff, but
From my knowledge, that is separate than what I deal with, and that's all been done through what board policy and what education code says, that if somebody requests it, then it has to be put in there, and it has to be up for so many days and everything else. From my understanding, and I don't look at those things because I'm not even supposed to review those cameras, or nobody's supposed to watch them live all day long at all. From my understanding, we do have those in those classrooms because I know that we have several in there and stuff. And if I ever see one of those pop up on our camera system, like I said, I'm on the camera system more than anybody else in the district. If I see one pop up for whatever reason, I contact warning them and say, hey, get that off of there. Nobody should be watching that live anyway.
Can you speak more to that, Mr. Gatewood? Is that in yours?
Actually, ma'am, the way that policy works, it's two ways it can happen. It has to be requested that we install those cameras and monitor them. It can be parent requested, it can be board requested. Right now, we do have a parent request for the elementary school to go in. And so we do have cameras going in that particular classroom to make sure they all work. There are some spaces at the middle school that Mrs. Buck has requested cameras go into. They have some in the main room, but she has, I believe, two side rooms that cameras be installed. So they can be requested by administration or by a parent.
So administration, do we have cameras in all of our like high-risk classrooms, BAC, life skills? We currently have cameras in all of those classrooms?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They have not been requested. Once we receive the request, we put the cameras in. Like I said, right now we have requests for the middle
I
school.
understand that, but as administration, do we not just proactively do that every year to protect ourselves? Because if
No,
you
ma'am.
said administration can, so what administration can actually request those? Principals or
Yes,
higher level or? So like all of our principals could request that cameras be installed and be turned on
Yes, ma'am.
the entire school year? Because from what I understand, it's school year to school year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, unless the school board adopts a policy, some school districts, the school board will write in their policy that all classes have them. So, those would stay operating and maintained over time and they would never be turned off. If you have someone that requests it specifically, it could be, situational where they don't continue to run.
Mhm.
Say a parent requests that, well, that child's no longer in that classroom, so that parent's request really no longer applies because that was for her or his particular child.
It's annual, isn't it? They have to
Yes.
read it.
Yeah, that's at school year to school year.
Don't you have to make sure that then that locks that classroom down to that room, correct?
Yes, so
You can't move classrooms.
well, you would, if you did move classrooms, then you would have to move your camera.
Yeah,
And so you.
Right, so like if we have a change from, I mean, because we see classroom changes across campus all the time. So if you move one life skills to room 201, right, to 310, you have to move those cameras.
If that particular class
Right.
had had a request, yes.
Right.
And, some school boards will adopt that policy. I mean, with you being small and having 4 campuses, it's really easier to maintain because we don't have to, continually keep up with who's made those requests. So, the policy would just keep them running all the time if the board decided to develop that policy.
But we don't have that currently in place. It's just by request only.
We have those request forms online, so parents, if they do request one, we direct them to fill that out, or we assist them in filling one of those out. That's what we did at the elementary.
Okay. And I'm asking, like I said, just because in light of things that have happened in other districts, how long do we keep like our footage? Do we keep them on servers? And I'm talking about just school,
Yeah,
like
so
schools in
it
general,
has to be
and not
kept
just
for-
BAC or life schools. I'm talking like overall. How long do we keep our footage?
It has to be kept for 90 days, okay, for 3 months. And that's one thing we talked with these, with the people from Avigilon and everything else and moving this stuff over. That's a lot of data and a lot of server use that we have to have all that on there. But we can actually schedule the cameras to be during school business hours, and that's the only time it has to record under the state law is under school business hours. So we'll cut down that it's not recording at night, it's not recording on weekends or anything else. We'll just do it Monday through Friday, because some days we go to school on Friday, some day on Thursday. It's kind of hard to make that change every day. So we'll do Monday through Friday during the school hours and everything else when we do those, and they'll record that information.
And you said it's 30 or 60? You said that
It's 90 days.
we currently keep our records for 90 days.
Yeah, it's up to 3 months.
Okay.
So.
And is that the same moving over to the new system? Will we be able to store more? I know you said it was a data issue. So moving over to a new system, does it give us more data?
Yeah, we're gonna with this new system, we can actually put all the recording. What you're storing is recording. Okay, so those cameras in those bedrooms would have to be recorded for those hours of school hours. Okay, so all that goes into a junk box. Okay, that's being stored and everything else for 3 months. Now the other cameras and everything else, what we're gonna lower it down to is recording for motion and different things like that and stuff. So we don't have to have everything recorded and stored. We just have just what's motion and everything else when something comes into the frame of that camera.
Okay.
So that'll help us keep that cost down. Go ahead, Warren.
Just want to clarify, my current plan is not to move special education cameras over to the new system, just for security reasons. It's a lot easier to manage access if no one can accidentally see something that they're not supposed to see. And so with the current camera system, we have server licenses that are already bought and paid for, and so my plan is to continue using one of our camera servers that already has a license for it to be the repository for all of those classroom style cameras. And then all of these security cameras are going to be on a Vigilon. And so two separate systems, that way there is a clear definition between a camera in an instructional setting and then cameras that are focused towards security.
Well, just to clarify one other thing, Warren, is that when he says all the other cameras would be moved over to Vigilon, that's incorrect. It's only the campus cameras.
Correct.
Because we use campus grant money for that. So any additional cameras that we put up outside of these 200 licenses that we got will be on the old system still to cover areas that we need extra coverage with, but it would be on a different server than what the SPED cameras will be on.
Okay. Thank you for all that.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you. We'll go to item number 8, executive session at 7:37 for 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, 551.082, and 551.0821. Number 9, reconvene from executive session at 8:16 p.m. Go to item 10, consent agenda. Did anybody have any questions? Motion by Greg, second by Amber. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 11, consider approval of Texas Instructional Leadership. Dr. Morgan.
Hello, yes, this is just a continuation of the ESF Focus grant we received on behalf of the high school. It's it's a 2-year grant, so we're going into year 2. The purpose of the grant is to pay for the technical assistance being provided by the service center. So the total amount for year 2 is $31,050, which of course is over our $25,000 limit. And so we just need, if you all would approve that purchase so we can make sure we can pay the service center.
Any questions? No.
I'll make a motion to approve the Texas Instructional Leadership.
A motion by Amber, second by Greg. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 12, consider approval of Avid Summer Institute registration. Dr. Morgan?
Yes, so this year we are able to send over 20 people to Avid Summer Institute from elementary, middle, and high school. And the total cost for the registrations will be $31,500, oddly close to the other one. But all of the payment is going to come from money that is geared for professional development. So we will be spending about $12,800 from our bilingual ESL allotment, which has to be spent on PD. $15,750 from school action because Avid is one of our P20 model elements, and then the remaining $2,100 we will take from Title II. So all of these funds are designated for professional development. And the number of people that we're able to send this year is the reason why the cost is above the $25,000.
Do anybody have any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Avid Summer Institute registration.
Motion by Amber, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Donald, all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to item 13, reports.
Okay, just a couple of things here. As you know, it's the final week of the school year, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of activities, a lot of great end-of-the-year celebrations for a lot of successes. We'll be wrapping things up on Thursday with all of our students, and then Friday is a teacher work day. We're going to do some end-of-the-year recognition, and then we wrap everything up on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Weather forecast looks good to graduate our seniors and send them off. So I'm really excited. It's just amazing to look up that the school year is coming to an end. But a lot of great things. We're just looking forward to wrapping everything up and ending strong for this year. We do you have anything, Mr. Gatewood, regarding graduation?
Hellas is on time. They did deliver the new goal poster up, and Ray Bine just completed the asphalt repair today. They did a top-notch job. I see always $33,000. They actually tore out the whole section instead of patching it, so they did a great job on it. The field is ready for graduation. Looking forward to an awesome day. We did take the old goal post and put them over in maintenance area for future use